But seriously, is Robin in the Batman Part 2? Yes or no? Hello, everyone. This is Digital Charcuterie. My name is James. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're looking forward to the Batman Part 2, the DCU, and whatever else, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to talk about it on this channel all the time. And I want to know your thoughts in the comments down below on Robin in the Batman Part 2. The Robin in the Batman. Maybe that's how they're going to play it. Who knows? No, forget it. Let's scratch that. Robin in the Batman Part 2. About a week ago, Jeff Snyder, the Insnider, said, yo, he heard that Robin was going to be in the Batman Part 2. And then James Gunn said, don't believe any of this nonsense, just to paraphrase. And then on the Hot Mic podcast last week with John Roca and Jeff Snyder went ballistic. I won't play it here, but you should go over there. I'll link it down below. Go over there. And he lost his mind, which told me one of two things. Either he lied the first time, and this is, because sometimes when you aren't telling the truth, sometimes you have an over-exaggeration. Or the other one is he told the truth, and James Gunn, was trying to, I don't want to say deface, but, trying to say, hey, don't trust this guy. Basically, and that's how Jeff Snyder took it. Is like, he's telling him not to trust me. And so there was a whole back and forth there, and it got a little insane, and Snyder lost his marbles, and it was very entertaining, though. As a podcast goes, it was entertaining. That's, you want entertainment, you got entertainment on that one right there. But he wasn't very happy. And as it went on, I said, maybe he might not have got great intel, maybe, but that's a possibility. But maybe he did, and if he did, whatever he got, he's reporting what he got. He's letting people know what he got, and he's not happy with James Gunn right now, to say the least. You should check that out for sure. But then it just didn't stop. Josh Horowitz from the Happy Sad Confused podcast posted a clip out of nowhere of Matt Reeves discussing Robin possibly being in the Batman Part 2, his love for the 60s Adam West Batman. And again, you should check that out. I'll link that in the comments down below too, because that is, or in the description, because that's a great interview. That was a great interview for about a year ago. But the thing is, like, what if you watch the first Batman, Matt Reeves Batman, and I'm a huge, Adam West was my Batman growing up. That's who I grew up with, was Adam West. And then Michael Keaton kind of came and all that. But Adam West was always my Batman. I freaking loved that Batman. I was that Batman for Halloween. That was my favorite superhero, was that version of Batman was the one I had growing up. And Matt Reeves says in the clip he didn't see it as camp. And I can tell you, as a kid, 3, 4, 5, whatever it was, you don't see it that way. You just see it as Batman and Robin taking out these villains. And you know what? It is kind of dumb that they have a pill that dissolves in water, and then their suit, the bat suit and Robin suit, just kind of appear. It's dumb, but it's also amazing. And you're like, yeah, that would be really perfect to have in my life. But if you watch the movie, there are little references to that Batman. There are little tidbits here and there that if you have a keen eye and you really appreciate that old show, you'll watch and you'll notice them. And they're not like, they're hidden, but they're not really, like, you could see them. And I really appreciate it. And I believe I talk about that in my review of the Batman from 3 years ago in my video, because I loved it. So he said that in this clip, and he kind of is very vague, obviously, on whether or not Robin is going to appear in the Batman Part 2. But it seems likely, like with his love and admiration for that series, that Robin would appear in his Batman. That's just how it is. If you have those other references, you want to put into this one. Now, of course, for me, I always felt like the Batman was like the grown-up version of the Adam West Batman. It was like, well, yeah, that's for the kids, and now this is the version of that. It's the same kind of like base, but you put that for adults. That's kind of how I interpreted it, and I still will until this day. And I absolutely love that one, and I love what Matt Reeves did as well, and I can't wait to see where he goes. But let's just say that things are going crazy on the Robin front, because Josh Horowitz, like when Josh Horowitz put that up, I was like, this is crazy that, like, just out of nowhere he did it. Now, is he sticking up for a fellow media in Jeff Snyder, or is he just saying, you know what? Because that Horowitz has heard things as well, so you wonder about that. And I want to bring up this article right here from Cosmic Book News, because they're saying Batman 2 Robin rumor correct, claims insider. And I was like, what is going on with this Robin news? Seriously, that's a sick photo. You scroll down. The Batman Part 2 Robin rumor is just got a boost from Grace Randolph, who says she's heard it's correct, even as James Gunn publicly denies it, and Jeff Snyder blasts the DC Studios boss over his response. Gunn denies Randolph's, and Randolph disagrees. Last week, Jeff Snyder claimed Robin is in the script for Matt Reeves' upcoming sequel, and James Gunn responded, "Guys, please stop believing this nonsense. I think six of us have read the script. No one knows anything about the Batman 2. Now, on Thursday, during her own coverage of the story, Grace Randolph said she's heard the rumor is accurate, putting her at odds with Gunn's public statements. I heard the rumor was correct." And then Jeff Snyder went heated, and here's the quote. I know who my source is. I know my source has been right about a whole bunch of stories that have been confirmed this week. Unfortunately, James Gunn has proven himself to be as trustworthy as Lance Armstrong in my book. I don't believe a word out of his mouth. One of the things I was told unequivocally, Robin is in the script. And then they gen tag the Happy Sad Confused podcast right down there. So a whole lot of debate is in the air. Is Robin in it? Is he not in it? And look, in the comments, whenever I do a Robin video, the comments are very, very split down the middle. Now, of course, this Batman, by the time they make it, Robert Pattinson will be, probably older than Michael Keaton was, but he's still supposed to be a younger Batman. So does a younger Batman taking in a young Robin make any sense? I think the Robin would have to be a little bit older, but he can't be too old because he can't be the same age as Bruce Wayne, right? I think, though, and I've said this in the past, and I've said this multiple times, I do believe that a Robin would really enhance this story, that a Robin story could really affect this character of the Batman. Especially, I always thought like a Jason Todd version of the character would be probably ideal for this version of Batman. But then after the Penguin, it's like, I don't know if that's going to be the case anymore, the way it works. But I still think a character, because of all of like the heartbreak and pain that the Batman has gone, that Bruce Wayne has gone through, I think another character like that could really show who the Batman is and give him more to rise up against. And I think the Batman Part 1 was very much about all of that. And I think this trilogy, if it ends up being a trilogy and not just stops at 2 or whatever, I really believe that we will get more of that as well. And I think Robin is the character you want to bring in, and he can really elevate Batman in that and show some compassion and empathy for Batman, but then also like what it takes to actually mentor, but not and be almost like a bigger brother. We'll say bigger brother with the age, possibly a bigger brother figure in all of this, and what that means to him, and how much more he has to protect him, and how much more he has to care for him, but not just him, but now he also has to care for himself and protect himself and take what he does a little bit more seriously and be a little bit more concerned with what's going on. So there's I think that there's a lot more depth that can be brought to this version of Batman with a Robin. Now, of course, we've got the campy Robin from the 60s, which I absolutely love. And then we got the Chris O'Donnell Robin from the 90s. And then Titans kind of did Robin, but and that's live action. But I'm saying like live action Robin hasn't completely gotten his due yet. I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt, his Robin was, he wasn't Robin, but he was a good interpretation of the character in that world. I think that fit perfectly in what they were doing, because the traditional Robin didn't really work, but they ended up playing it off. I thought that was a really great version of Robin in the end, when you're like, oh yeah, he's Robin, and he was kind of Robin in that, and I thought they pulled it off wonderfully. So this one's got to be different. I just think that the character of Robin, the backstory of a Robin, whether or not they do the flying Graysons or whatever, I think a backstory, though, the tragedy of a Robin would fit in with the tragedy of the Batman, of Bruce Wayne. And I just think that the parallels of one another, and learning to grow and learning what this character would mean to Bruce Wayne, to Batman, could really, really push things forward. And you put Robin in peril. Not like Chris O'Donnell peril in Batman Forever, but you put him in peril with Dr. Chase Meridian, with Riddler. Not like that, in like real peril where you're like, oh man, Robin's going out there. What is he up against? I think you can really, I think that would really hold a lot of weight, and I think it would really resonate with fans. And you see all of a sudden there are stakes at play because you have this Robin character. Just don't make him too young. Those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Is Robin going to happen in the Batman Part 2? What is going on? Let me know. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate it. Give us a like and a subscribe. And until next time, may be the master of your own universe.